This series, of course, was supposed to be daily, but not quite. That means 5 days a week. And I am happy to say that I've missed a decent number of days. My name is Chris Hargraves, and this is Digital Marketing Mastery for Lawyers, and you can find more of my stuff at digitalmarketingforlawyers.com. I want to talk about momentum, and I want to talk about times where you just aren't getting done the things that you ought to be getting done. By far and away, the hardest thing for lawyers to do in their digital marketing strategy is getting into the habit of regular execution of that strategy. Lawyers are fantastic at coming up with unbelievably optimistic plans. Often they're color-coded and there's Gantt charts and headings and hundreds of hours are spent saying we're going to grow this, we're going to do that, we're going to raise our top line by this other thing, and then just nothing happens. Nothing happens. I got busy, I had a trial, clients kept calling, there was a staff issue, and all of a sudden it's next year's strategic retreat, and we dust off the document. Oh, but no, then we'll just spend $100,000 doing it all over again. Because nobody did anything, or most people didn't do most things. Let's be generous. Okay, so what are we going to do about that? I think what we need to embrace in our digital marketing strategy is the fact that it is far easier to adapt while in the process of executing than it is to front load precisely how you are going to execute. So there's this tipping point, there's this balance between knowing what you're going to do before you do it, which certainly has some benefit, but alternatively worrying so much about getting your strategic execution plan precisely 100% right before you do anything, that really needs to, I think, lean further back towards the execution part. Have enough there that you can get going. You can start measuring what works, you can start measuring what doesn't work, you can start getting input, but more importantly for you as an individual lawyer who is executing a digital marketing strategy, you can get better at it. We don't get better at things by thinking about the things. As a general rule, I could read every single book that exists on how to build a house, but until I've started practicing how to drive a nail through a piece of wood, or whatever all the other things I'm going to have to do to build a house are, would you trust me to build your house? No. I need to start doing. I need to execute some of the strategy before I know, okay, I'm super good at this. I'm just naturally awesome at this thing over here. But this kind of sucked. How am I going to get past that? Do I need to improve on that? Should I throw that in the bin? Is this an essential piece of my digital marketing strategy? Do I think I could get better? Can I outsource it? Could I engage another staff member? Could I get feedback? What am I going to do in order to make this component that I decided to do better? Or do I need to replace it with something else? This is how we make better decisions in our digital marketing strategies. We commence executing. And the biggest problem we have is that we don't execute enough. If blogging is our strategy, say, and I've spoken before about whether that should be, but if blogging is the strategy we are looking at, are we executing regularly? Are we producing articles every week or every fortnight, whatever it is, or are we letting everything else get in the way? And as we don't execute, we learn not to execute. We don't find time. We aren't getting better at it. We aren't getting more efficient at it. We aren't getting faster at it. We aren't improving our copywriting skills. And therefore, after 6 months, you've done 2 articles and neither of them were that good because you're just not that good at writing articles yet. You need the practice to get better at it. And you need the feedback to understand what topics are awesome and what topics are not. We can chat about what topics we think are going to be awesome until the cows come home. But until you write it, we are just offering our subjective opinions of our own work. I've written articles and published them that I didn't think were getting much traction at all. And they end up being some of the more popular articles on some of my blogs. On the flip side, I put a ton of effort into some of my articles that I think are just an absolute goldmine of information. And it's crickets, basically, and tumbleweeds, coming across my analytics program instead of actual reads or page views. And I can't always figure out why. I can't always predict in advance what's going to resonate with people and what is not. And neither can you. You might think you know your audience extremely well, but you know who knows them better than you do? them. They know what they like, and they will give you that feedback and help you refine things. Maybe it's your imagery, maybe it's your wordiness, maybe it's your article headlines, maybe it's your topic selection. You can start to look at the data and you can start to tweak and adjust and refine and get better, but you can't do it if you're not executing. And so my takeaway for today is that you need to develop the momentum in order to course correct along the way. Until you have that, you're still in that stage of just pushing this enormously heavy thing, where at start, it's much harder than once it's going. Much easier to maintain and adjust than it is to try and shove a gigantic boulder in a different direction from start. That's it. Ask questions, leave comments, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to things. If you are watching on YouTube, let me know what you think of the new color grading if I end up doing it. If it's still black and white, ignore that comment. But I was thinking of just tweaking things a little bit because I was getting bored of doing black and white all the time. That's all I've got, and I will see you next time.